Mabel Lane. Hope you're having a lovely day. Thank you for your support. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Thank you for your thumbs up, for your comments, and thank you for sharing the videos. Thank you for all you do to support the channel. And yes, we are commanded to love one another, whether we want to or not, or whether we agree with each other or not. So shout out to the South Carolina Gamecocks for winning the College Women's National Basketball Championship, and also to their coach, Dawn Staley, who has only lost 3 games in the last 3 seasons. So her team has won 109 games in the last 3 years. So she is an outstanding coach, an excellent coach. So shout out and congratulations to the South Carolina women's basketball team. Now y'all know how this works. This is a team of mostly black women and a black woman coach. So it's just a matter of time, and I'm sure they've already started with the racial slurs and the black women are masculine things. They can't resist doing this when they lose. They have been hanging their hats on Caitlin Clark, who is a good player. And it's just wrong to try to make this about race. Those women go out there and play their hearts out. They compete to win. And somebody is going to win. And if this is not your year to win, oh well, come back next year and give it another shot. So you shake hands and you move on, and you don't start humiliating each other because you weren't the one that won this time. But there are those who will make it about race because they can't stand to see black people win. Or better still, they can't stand to lose to black people. But they do quite often. So I'm waiting to hear the whole black women are masculine, black women are not feminine, what do you expect from men and things like that. That's what happens when you're a poor loser, when you want to win without competing. So we can just wait for it. But in the meantime, the discussion came up on this channel a few days ago about who started calling black women masculine. There are black women who want to say that black men started this. And there are black men, and I'm including gays and bisexuals and transgenders in this, who really want to say they started it because of their disdain for black women. And for you, I'm sorry to disappoint you. Black men did not start this. This started with white men, and I have brought the receipts. You know I did. I found this article on Sports Blogging Nation, and it has turned out to be very helpful. This article was prompted by something that happened to a South African runner a few years ago. Caster Semenya and the cruel history of contested black femininity. Being a female, she looked to some people more masculine, and so she was subjected to doctors testing and probing through her body to find out if she was a woman or a man. So I think we heard about that, but you can't imagine how humiliating that is when you are the person who has to go through it. Also, a few years ago, an Asian professor, so-called, did a study where he said that you couldn't tell the difference between black men and black women, and that black women were the least attractive women on earth. So black women have been subjected to all of this kind of hatred and ignorance. But I'm about to put this lie to rest. This article says, as early as the 16th century, now you know that the 16th century is from 1500 to 1599. The century is always one larger than the year. So as early as the 16th century, European explorers who made their way to the African continent began remarking on the anatomical features of the populations they encountered. To the Europeans, the dark skin, strong bills, and wide hips and noses they encountered resembled those of apes, so much so that they began perpetuating the idea that Africans regularly copulated with monkeys. See, they bringing their own perversion and imposing it on Africans. And that's where all this monkey lie got started, when in reality, they are the ones that copulated with those troglodytes. So the Europeans started this. Back to the article. Over time, such beliefs took on a more gendered tone, with comparisons made between African and European women that not only promoted arbitrary markers of racial difference and inferiority, but also justified the exclusion of African women from the category of women altogether. So they just altogether took away black women's gender and made us non-gender or masculine or whatever they wanted us to be. But this is where it started. And let us remember that the main reason they did this was to dehumanize black people. Black women are the bearers of the black race. So they're just going to say, well, no, you're not even a woman. You're just an ape. But all of this was for what they were getting ready to do, which was to pillage, plunder, and basically destroy the humanity of African people. World Athletics remains committed to a centuries-old white supremacist notion that defines womanhood in terms of the white, cisgendered female body, rendering everybody else, especially women of African descent, socially unacceptable aberrations. So we're just aberrations. We're not really women. So what they're looking at as these frail, flat-ass white women and calling that feminine, whereas if you are a strong, healthy black woman, then they decided to regender you. But who's having fertility problems? Who's worried about a low birth rate? Okay? Who's worried that they're about to become extinct? Okay? World Athletics describes its mission as fostering athletic excellence and enhancing sport to offer new and exciting prospects for athletes, yet it has historically done so by enabling vile attitudes towards black women and the bodies they inhabit. And I believe this is the same organization that's allowing transgender men to compete as women. And I think we've all heard about Sarah Baartman, who was captured and enslaved in South Africa and brought to Europe in 1810 and exhibited in circuses and public squares until her death. After her death, scientists dissected her body and promoted the idea that black women's so-called deficiencies, and that had to do with the makeup of the black woman's body, made them less womanly than their white counterparts. This fixation with black women's bodies has more to do with the defective thinking of white people than it does with black women's bodies. We are the way we are because this is how God made us. The fact that we are stronger than white women doesn't mean anything. Black men are physically stronger than white men. Maybe we're just a stronger and more sturdy race. I'm just saying. This article is fairly long and I didn't go over the whole thing, but if I can remember it, I will put a link to it so you can go back and read the whole thing if you would like to. I just wanted to make the point and bring some evidence that black men in the 21st century did not begin this whole idea about black women being masculine and not feminine. It has been in the environment for a very long time, and it was done for some very specific purposes. So if you are a black man and you want to take credit for demeaning black women, go right ahead. But just know this was not your original idea. This idea is embedded in racism, in colonialism, and in the robbing, pillaging, colonizing and the enslaving of Africa and African people, and that is nothing to be proud of. So black women have been holding it down for a long time. All of this humiliation, on top of the fact that the very same men who called black women masculine and unfeminine were the main ones violating, abusing, and harassing the enslaved women, leaving their feminine, submissive wives up in the big house to come down to the slave quarters to harass those masculine, unfeminine women. People need to stop lying. So anyway, all I gotta say is, black women, we must be doing something right, because people can't keep our names out of their mouths. So we just need to keep on keeping on. Okay, y'all, thank you for listening. Let me know what you think about the video. Subscribe to the channel. Give me a thumbs up, leave a comment, share the video, and as always, have a great day.